And welcome back, ladies and gents. Hope you've now grabbed a little cup of tea and you're ready for the next matchup. It'll be between EPS and WUSA. And we are having a very good play day so far. It seems already a very close game to start us off with. Not really what I expected, to be fair. I thought that was going to be a bit of a walk in the park for TCM. Certainly not the case. But the next game, once again, in theory, should be a walk in the park for Evil Panda squad. But then again, WUSA have been known to occasionally turn up and play a substantially harder game than expected. But it's an all-German affair this time. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, WUSA can actually pull out some surprises. They're actually a decent team when they get the communication right and they get the synergy right. That's the most important thing. I think that's the key for WUSA to actually be able to have a chance here against Evil Panda squad. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a slow game. The first game was pretty quick. TCM and Freefall both were winning to push the boat out and try something a little bit different, some aggressive tactics. But with WUSA, they like to stay slow, although they have to say sped up a little bit towards the middle and the end of the season. So maybe going for that side opposed to the static side. And Evil Panda squad you saw against Denial, extremely slow. Didn't try anything, and one little mistake then gave Denial the win. So I think that's how the game's going to play out in general. Well,
that's certainly something to keep in mind. Your prediction, though, winner?
Should be Evil Panda squad.
I'm there with you on that one. And Melly, what are your thoughts for this? Are you thinking this could be an EPS victory here, or you think maybe WUSA could do something a little special?
I mean, we saw WUSA last time playing pretty strong. And it could happen again.
it definitely could.
Yeah, actually, FKK Schnitzel hit me up. Was like, I heard you talk about shit about my team. I'm like, no, I didn't talk shit about your team.
Would I ever?
I would never say something bad about you guys. I love you all. And but sometimes, as we cleared out last time, teams just need like the little poke in the back. Like, do something good, and you will get the recognition for it, right? And so, well, I have no idea. I pretty much think that Evil Panda squad will take this one, but my opinion aside, you guys at home, facebook.com/WGLEU, head over and vote. I already put up a vote where you can just hand in your voice for your team or the team you see in favor, just to see the trend of the community, and of course leave the exact prediction of the scoreline in the comment section below, and by guessing right, if you get lucky, I'll pick you maybe, and you'll get a bonus code. And there are 3 on the line. 3 nice bonus codes containing a T2 Lite, 1k gold, 7 days of premium, and a garage slot. And yeah, of course, twitter.com/WGLEU, of course. #WGLEU. I'm sorry, my voice is like slipping away.
I'm not sure why. It's pretty curious you were so excited about the first game. She was getting so loud, man. So loud. It was unbelievable.
I just ran outside on the street and screamed.
The authorities were called, but it's all okay. We had a little chat with the officers, and we said that that's just Melly. Don't worry about it.
That's my screaming time.
Yeah, that's it.
The straight jacket's coming a little bit later, I think.
Yeah, the special jacket. Yes, the hug jacket. That's how I have to tell it to Melly. But anyway, hug jacket aside, let's start looking at these lineups coming up for the next game, if possible, because there are quite a few players that we can at least look towards to do some interesting things. I feel for EPS more than WUSA. WUSA is occasionally an all-rounder team. You've got QQ in there, a couple of others, but for me, who from EPS should be the standout player?
Well, Newmark shows team captain and really an extraordinary player altogether. Really actually think that without his own team, he's a little bit wayward, but when he's actually in control of his team and he's telling them what to do, he's pretty damn good, and he slots in nicely.
Definitely.
Also, he's hitting up the top damage for Evil Panda squad in general. And for WUSA, they've got a decent set of players, but they're not really anyone extraordinary in there who's been doing extremely good. Only Nexus is decent in terms of the ranking. So he's the only one who's really pushing and wanting to play volatile tanks and being an aggressive player and being a damaging player and an effective player. So only him really stands out for WUSA, the German team.
Yeah, these two teams are very hard to kind of pin down to standout players, because they don't really have that as a factor in their game styles. They play this very much dependent on the team composition, the team feeling, the complete synergy is so much more important than the individuals, and that can occasionally be the downfall of EPS. As we constantly say, Nimocho can be a one-man band sometimes and just go off on his own, and he can be a little bit of a problem, but he's been pretty much in check. But then again, both these teams are coming off the back of a loss. EPS lost to Denial and WUSA lost to C-Play, but it's all about how they can build themselves up now. Both these teams are doing okay. WUSA, I think, are near on out of actually qualifying towards the offline finals. but then again, you never know. If they keep turning up, they keep getting better and better and better, there's always next season to look towards. They came back into this one, a team that we've known for some time, but they didn't really play to what we wanted, and they haven't really improved as quickly as the other new additions to this season. Looking at Freefall or the other Finns who've certainly upped their game from when we initially saw them. Lucky Karaki for a very good example, a team that's come on leaps and bounds from when we initially saw them in the prior seasons in the WGL EU. So looking at the first map here though, it's going to be Himmelsdorf. What can we expect from these two on this one?
Evil Panda squad have been a little bit shaky. They had a good kind of start to the season on Himmelsdorf. Some aggressive play, but they did struggle against Denali Sports, who are very static, and that's where Evil Panda squad might have to be careful when they're going forwards against, if WUSA wants to camp a very defensive team, then they need to execute perfectly. But generally, I'm pretty happy with squad on Himmelsdorf. They're pretty good, solid set of heavy tank players. Generally, the Polish teams are good on the city maps, and I mean, apart from Denali Esports, who have always been that kind of AMX 3090 orientated team, and I love those wolf packs. WUSA, I think as well, pretty solid. They've got a lot of good heavy tank players, but I think for them, it's more about Ruinberg and Mines and Cliff, a little bit more unpredictable, not so linear maps. So tank lineups are coming in now. The triple AMX 51 double IS3 double tier 1 standard from Evil Panda squad. Not so much of a standard lineup for
I'm not
WUSA
even sure if that's being completely locked in yet.
Double IS3 AMX 5100 KV5 double tier 1. The KV5, second time today. We don't see that at all. We only seen it once before in the season coming out from Freefall.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the previous matchup between Freefall and TCM, and now we're seeing in this matchup on Himmelsdorf. Played by what is this name or something. So I'm going to see how that one works. We've seen it before, ages ago, but now the game's trying to kind of change. It's a little bit too hard to get into the positions because you do want to be flanking very quickly on Himmelsdorf. We want to be getting from A to B. That's why you have the 5100s. Obviously, you can't put it up on the hill as well because it's just too slow to get there.
Yeah, so interested to see where that gets played. I think it's actually been locked in, so we'll be seeing that KV5 in play. And Melly even asked the question earlier, could this be a tank to come into competitive play on a consistent level? Maybe she's been on the WUSA team speak again, getting the information from Schnitzel there, as he did give her some grief before. She was so mean about their gameplay. Very, very harsh stuff is our Melly. But still, maybe it does find its place here. Maybe it can have a little spot on this map. But I'm trying to think through where it can play. As you said, the hill's not really an option. Melly, are you okay there? You all right? She's good. She's excited now because her tank's in play. But still, where does this come into effect? Where is the position there for that KV5?
I think it's going to have to be somewhere on the flat, probably the 8 line, perhaps 1, 2, 3 line. But it does give me the slight inkling that WUSA are going to be doing something here, because you can still have the IS3 and play defensively, but when you have the KV5, you want to have it explicitly to absorb as much damage as possible. So I think they might be pushing it first with the rest of the tanks in tow.
I look back at WUSA, they have been happy to try and adapt and try new things. New positioning on mines came through from them. They're a team that does occasionally innovate, not just tanks alone, but they do certainly have their play styles towards positioning that come into play. It doesn't always work, but excuse me, it does occasionally catch out the opponents, occasionally adds another layer to keep in mind. So guys at home, do use that hashtag WGLEU and let us know your thoughts on the KV5 in play. Obviously, just before the game starts, let us know, do you think it's got a position here? We'll find out the answer afterwards, I believe the teams are ready. So let's get ourselves looking towards the first map, Himmelsdorf. And welcome to the first map. It's going to be Himmelsdorf, and in the north in blue it will be WUSA. In the south in red it will be Evil Panda squad. These two have to go head to head here. Both teams looking like they want to pick up that victory, and obviously with that KV5 in play, very interested to see where they're going to put it.
Yeah, they're going to push it over towards the right side straight away, a bit like TCM did in the previous matchup. The right side is starting to become more of a dominant factor from the north. I'm not sure exactly what they can do. They have two options. They can either play defensively, which I think they will do, as Killer Pit's going to be joining Rufy in that position. It's going to be 100% camp from WUSA, I think, in this battle. Setting up tanks in the 2 to 5 line pretty much, and just making sure they get all the angles covered. And from Evil Panda squad, very much of the same. Again, you know, teams not liking the hill anymore. It's becoming a little bit more phased out. Instead, opting for the more standard, what we've seen in previous seasons at least. You know, a couple of tanks towards that 1, 2, 3 line, and you know, all the rest of them just sitting a hull down with the IS3s. Only really the tier 1 heading towards the hill, but even that has not been on the option cards for Evil Panda squad. Instead, F1 and kind of the ED line, 7 ED line though. So a bit of a change up for Evil Panda squad, the Polish team. Obviously, it's going to be hard for them to push in against WUSA, who are playing very defensively. But if they do, we've seen it happen many times before where it's been successful. And as long as they get a decent execution, this northern camp here is actually not that effective. You basically just need to come around from this side with all your tanks, engage onto these two, take one down as quickly as possible, and then send one of your high HP tanks over to deal with the one tank that sits here, usually a 5100, and basically take that out of the game. And then when your tanks are pushed along far enough, it can either retreat to save being killed, or it can push forward and be killed. So, you know, it's quite hard to camp, and that's pretty much why WUSA picked the KV-5, because these two are the most important tanks to stay alive. If they go down, it's pretty much game over, so you want to have as much HP and much armor as possible in this location.
So, game plan now unfolded a little from EPS, as they are slowly edging their way forward here, or at least consolidating their forces towards this 2 to 3 line. They've spotted out, actually, those players, so they know where that KV-5 is. So that is a brilliant bit of information coming through. And who made that spot there?
It's Zagorny, I think, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so great work from him very early on. It's about those guys. So, you know, the plan has been unraveled there. EPS know where they put that KV-5. It makes sense. And as you said, there are options to break that sort of camp. It's not like it's a completely flawless position to be in. You've got Lucas now joining us, Cosme here on the 3 line. You see Noob Multi Show over with Eclipse and Raging Potato down by the 3 to 4. And they could certainly start considering a push. They've sent mostly the tier 1s a little further forward. Polsved being the man scouting away in that tier 1, trying to find the positions out of the opponents. Zagorny doing the initial fantastic work in the tier 1, spot out quite some way away the KV-5's positioning over there towards the B3 section. But I'm very interested to see if EPS can kind of muster themselves into a push here. Polsved just kind of tearing around in that tier 1, trying to make sure there's no one here, going to just back himself in and make sure that these guys are still in position. You can assume there's generally going to be a player, as you mentioned, down the back of the train station there and the A2 section. And that will be Sisha, I believe, over there. So I'll be interested to see how this one comes down. Polsved not actually catching a glimpse of anyone in the tier 1. So at the end of the day, what will be the go sign for EPS, do you think?
They basically need to keep Polsved alive as much as possible, or they need to sacrifice him for all the information of WUSA. If Polsved stays alive, it's going to be very easy for Evil Panda squad to basically put tanks in the cap and go for that cap in general. But it's hard work from him. He's doing it very well at the moment. He's a great player, and not just the tier 1s and the MX-3090s and T69s, also extremely effective. Very clinical. He's going to have to reverse around. He wants to obviously stay unspotted, and that's where the 50-meter proxy rule does really not come in his favour. Raging Potato and Eclipse in the IS3s pushing forwards, and Evil Panda squad in general will now start heading forwards towards the cap. Polsved will go first, get a bit of information, and then the rest of the tanks that actually make a big difference, although of course tier 1 is important on Himmelsdorf, will follow suit. These two are actually going to rotate back around. I'm not sure exactly what their plan is, but New Multi Show is leading the charge as usual. Does look like he's actually going to be heading towards the hill. Lucas Histi on the 1, 2, 3 line, and we could see a split push here from the Polish team.
This would be interesting. As you said, actually Mocho coming back around, maybe some slight indecision towards what the plan was there, but we'll have to see if it does become an issue. Lucas pushes up, they've spread out Sish and the Lux now towards that northwest corner. Nothing too surprising, but they've pretty much caught a glimpse of now 4 of the players, and you can assume off the back where the vast majority of the others are. QQ now being spread out as well is going to add to the tally of players that's position has been completely unearthed. And because there's been very real movement, or very little movement coming out from WUSA, there could be some damage done here if EPS do want to make their move.
Yeah, they're very good at these kind of breaking the camp situations. They didn't do it against Denial, but they certainly had a good crack at it. And WUSA have been struggling as a team defensively. Obviously, their first match was against Denial as well, so they lost that one out 1-0. And I don't think this is really what we want to see from WUSA. I think we want to see them a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more exploratory, and experiment with the tanks and not sit up into the 1-2-3 line and just wait for Evil Panda Squad to make the move, because when they do, and if they do it without losing a tier 1, it's just going to be 2 tier 1s in the cap. They're going to have a lot of tanks pushing onto these two, and they're going to come up from the other side with a 1 AMX 50-100. So it's a very clear and clinical way forwards for Evil Panda Squad.
And I like this push, well, not push, but the positioning now from Polsved. I feel that if they are going to make a move, there's always if you're going for the win, let's say, there's always the risk that a player can now make their way across the A line and down the 0 line, and they can get away using their hill. If Polsved can get up here, at least he'll get the spot and work out where they're heading if necessary. And it's just getting more information. It will kind of clear up the question mark of where is everyone else? Where are those other 2 tanks we haven't spotted out yet? Where are the tier 1s or the other tier 1? And each bit of information that comes trickling down is allowing EPS to slowly make their steps forward and forward. So Raging Potato and Eclipse here making their way up that 3 line quite tentatively, as they know Siege and the other players are around this spot. You've got Lucas not too far away either, certainly in support. Numolcho coming over to join the IS3s here with Nazcosmi. And I'm really interested to see how this goes down. 3 minutes and 23 left though. They're going to have to make that move pretty soon.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about Polsved. Basically, he's going to sit there, and in case the draw does come, he's going to be able to run up the hill. He's also keeping the flank pretty much safe, and that's his most important role.
There is always that counter push, isn't there?
Exactly. You can draw it, and in the worst situation, he actually spots the counter push. But I don't think that's going to happen because Evil Panda Squad have consistently spotted WUSA in this location. We're heading towards that 2 minutes and 30 seconds mark. Killerpit's going to be joining these 3, so it's going to make it even harder for Evil Panda Squad to push forwards. I think they should have gone a lot quicker, then they wouldn't have had to deal with Killerpit, or at least deal with him when he's in a vulnerable position trying to push. Now it's pretty obvious where WUSA, where Evil Panda Squad's going to push, and WUSA's going to be able to commit resources and be in the best position to deal with it. You can see Commandant is just back there, Killerpit, what's his name, and QQ, as well as obviously Seek up and towards the right corner, the old team captain of Morwatt DE. All sitting up here defending the cap and the general base of WUSA. So Evil Panda Squad are going to have to push, but when they do, it's going to be pretty obvious.
Oh, you can see Lucas has appeared, and you can see why, because everyone else is starting that move in. They're looking around for the Lux. I think he just got spotted out a little earlier on, but there we go again. Turret's turn. It should be an easy shot from these guys. Actually, Eclipse not landing that, not ideal. And now the 4-man band is looking to make their way through. Already a shot comes in. Raging Potato takes a lot of damage then. Down to 454. That's not good. The initial burst fire amount coming out from WUSA then really knocking EPS back. They have backed the hell up, maybe expecting a counter push to come around. Siege is still down at the end, or at least to their knowledge, down at the end by that 2 to 3 line. And it looks like EPS are actually backing away from this.
Yeah, and WUSA are going to try and counter straight away, sending pretty much all their tanks for. Seek is the only one who's not there. They know how much damage they did in that first volley against Raging Potato. I mean, 1,046, just insane burst from the WUSA, the German side, and now it's going to give them some opportunity to go forwards. Numolcho, as usual, gets spotted in the back. That guy's always sitting at the back on Himmelsdorf at least, and I think that's part of the weakness this team has on this map. The rest of the team are going to be trying to find those tier 1s, but we do have the engage.
Oh, the KV5 coming around the flank is big play here. He gets the first shot towards Raging Potato, makes it easier for QQ in that IS3 to come and finish off the deal. Now Eclipse is surrounded and now on his own. Very little support coming in from the 50-100s around the back. Numolcho's actually backing away. They're leaving him to die here. Eclipse can't escape, and they've just sacrificed 2 tanks due to the lack of commitment, and EPS are in trouble. And as Cosme gets held for a second, trying to maybe land a cheeky little shot on towards Commandante. But this is not good, and they're just about to be swarmed, and Lucas even out on a limb as well. They've been called out here quite substantially.
Yeah, Rufy's actually going to head in towards the cap. He's obviously hasn't got enough time, so he can't do that. He's actually got to go around. Numolcho does take him down, but look at Lucas Isti on his own, takes down 1, but seeks to find.
Yeah, 4 players around him, and they're not even committing those 4, just 1, leaving us Cosme and Numolcho alive. This is unbearable to watch, such poor execution, yet still Evil Panda Squad stand with 18 seconds left. You know, we are seeing Nazcosme being the lamb to the slaughter again to allow the likes of Numolcho to back away with the 2 tier 1s, but this is not the play I wanted to see. 7 seconds is probably going to be a draw, but mostly down to the fact that Evil Panda Squad just did not want to go for that execution. The KV5, not chasing, but certainly in the background there, that was very poor from both sides.
Yeah.
I feel okay, WUSA didn't do much either, but then again, the commitment from EPS was not to the standard I'd expect from them.
They had to commit more, basically. It was too obvious what they wanted to do. Even though it's pretty much the only option, you have to push in that way, at least in the position where WUSA was. You have to do it immediately. The problem was the IS3s were spotted for too long, and they were just sat there. And it basically just gave WUSA the perfect opportunity to rotate Killer Pit in there, and also Commandant to join in. So when Raging Potato, who came around, they completely lost the element of surprise. He took 1,046 damage from those 4 tanks in the first volley, and the 3 tanks from the first volley. And that was really, really hard for Evil Panda Squad. They just had to go forwards. They had to choose the element of surprise and the right time to push. I think a little bit early would have also been good. And look for the middle push as well. I don't think it's right to come all the way from that place, especially when Cosme and New Show are completely out of position on their own, kind of doing this back supporting thing when it's not about supporting from the back, it's about being forwards and actually sharing the HP pool around. So something like Raging Potato doesn't take 1,046 damage at the start. So yeah, I mean, WUSA, ultra defensive, didn't want to play Himmelsdorf, of course, and Evil Panda Squad was slightly lacking execution there.
Yeah, and for the question, is the KV5 viable? 1.4k
it wasn't even
damage.
Tested that much.
Didn't actually do the job that it was put into the lineup to do, to soak up the damage, to kind of be that extra factor there. It certainly did well in the position, but it never got tested, as you said. And I'm in complete agreement with your thoughts towards using a bit of a split through mid as well, not just funneling your tanks into literally a bottleneck. You're going through a very small kind of amount of space, and every single turret is about to be facing you. Whether it be 3 or more is completely down to the opponents, but there's still at least 3 shells that can come in quite easily on your position as soon as you appear. So splitting off those maybe 2 tanks around the side is something I would have liked to have seen, and it's something that a lot of the other teams that break that sort of defense often utilize, whether it be with a cap in the circle or any other options that come up when you do these sort of splits. I would have liked to have seen a little more from that, but still, draw on the first map, that's nothing we're not too surprised by draws on the first maps these days, but I'm surprised it was Himmelsdorf, because normally, for example, you said that you can only really ban one map these days. You can only exclude one map from the pool, but then picking one as the first and you play it passively like they did, it kind of brings itself to a draw in almost a way you can ban it out. Himmelsdorf is not a map I expect to see drawn and banned out almost. It never is. It can easily gift you a win if you want it. And for that to be kind of negated straight away, I'm a little surprised at. But nevertheless, second map coming up being Ensk. Another city-ish map. There's obviously the green side for options if you want it. I'm not too sure what to expect here because, I wasn't too impressed by either side, if I'm completely honest so far. Haven't seen much from WUSA, though. They've been the ones kind of being a little more passive. Looking forward to maybe them making a couple of moves on this one. But EPS really didn't do the job for me on that first map.
Yeah, they were a little bit tentative. They were better than WUSA in a lot of respects. I think that's why WUSA actually was going defensively, because they knew Evil Panda Squad are pretty proficient on Himmelsdorf. Just in general, obviously not that time, wasn't particularly great, but lineups are in. Triple AMX 5100 AA3 double tier 1 for both Evil Panda Squad and WUSA here. As you said, at the moment, just looking at that first map, Himmelsdorf, very passive by WUSA. Obviously, we want to see a little bit more aggression done on Ensk, because I think they're a better team here.
Well, all of that in mind, let's get ready for that next map, Ensk. So, welcome into battle number 2. EPS up against WUSA. Currently sat at 0-0. A little lackluster on the first map, but here's hoping the second can give us a little bit more of what we can expect from these two teams. So in the north, as said, it being WUSA, what are they up to here?
It looks like a standard start from WUSA. Going forwards, trying to get the cross on with Killer Pit and QQ. Basically just shoot Evil Panda Squad if they do get spotted and new head over towards the green side. So that's what we expect, and that's what we got. Evil Panda Squad are doing also the standard thing. I mean, we've seen a lot of teams going towards the city, and they're obviously more confident around the green zone. So this could be a good start for WUSA if they do get the spots on, because as the whole of Evil Panda Squad heads over to the green zone, they'll get spotted and they'll get a lot of shots towards them. But so far, so good for the Polish team. Managed to get away with that one. Raging Potato, Show, pretty much the whole of EPS looking up towards the train lines, expecting or hoping at least that WUSA is going to be there. Clips does receive one there, down to 1144. So good start for WUSA, as they both did some damage and they got some information.
Yeah, not bad work, all in all. 9 minutes to go. I'll be interested to see if we see a play here. These two teams are quite happy to make that little bit of a push up. And interesting positioning coming from WUSA there. Very interested to see how that one pays off. But Raging Potato is certainly making a move up these railroads, as are the others. You're seeing the fire coming back and forth between these two. Eclipse is now joining Raging Potato on the push up that 6 line. And a little further back, Numocho and Lucas, again, kind of in this firing squad. I don't like the way they split each other up in this. I don't feel as though sometimes they're that consolidated team. Yet we see other teams often doing this push. I still worry that Numocho will be a little bit out of sync with the others.
Yeah, he certainly is. He does a lot of damage when he's in the right position, but he's often leaving his team to go forwards and him being at the back to do the damage. That's the problem with Numocho. He's really a big ego player. He has to be careful, but he's been doing pretty well for Evil Panda squad in general, and has caused me Numocho heading forward. So we are seeing a bit of aggression from the Polish side. They haven't been spotted as well, although yes, they have now on the right side the tier 1 in the great position. So they can lose a tier 1, but WUSA gains a lot for it. They get a lot of information, and that's all you really need. Getting themselves back into the defensive position. The Lux trying to run away. You're probably going to get taken down at some point in time, as Kilipit does take down Zagorzni. So actually a good first start here by WUSA, but they are playing defensively again, so Evil Panda squad are going to be setting the pace of the game a little bit more, and really just dictating the style of the map. And that's where WUSA is going to struggle, because if Evil Panda squad just get that moment when they execute perfectly, it's going to be game over. Pulsefire does go down though, so Evil Panda squad's ability to cap is now severely reduced.
I'm looking to see if EPS can capitalize on the fact that what's-his-name is actually quite far out on his own. He does have cover coming in from the west side, but still Lucas and as Cosme looking like they want to make a bit of a show out of this one. Lucas is moving in for this, not over-committing, a little bit tentative towards the push then, backing away, maybe trying to draw out the shots if it's going to happen. Numocho is still with him. Let's see if he actually makes anything out of this. We are seeing the fact that Kilipit once again appearing quite close to Raging Potato, down by that 5 and 6 line, but do you think we're going to see a little bit of a mini commitment out of EPS towards taking down what's-his-name here?
Definitely.
Yeah, here we go. So putting their resources in. The 5100 will go for the first shot, but it's a 2-1 actually. Lucas not in the battle. Numocho taking a lot of damage here. Finally, Lucas will come through, but Numocho will get the kill. But that was a lot of near and unnecessary damage absorbed by Numocho when he went in on his own rather than with Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas should have been there by his side. That made it a lot easier, but at least Evil Panda squad now have a tank down. WUSA definitely on the back foot, although probably in a little bit better positions. We've seen that a lot of times, the tank going down, but the positions being superior for the other team so they can actually get the game back. But it's going to be hard for the German team right now. They really have to get back into this game and maybe even take up a tank of their own. But playing defensively, this is a problem. You actually have to commit or let the other team make the mistake. And at the moment, Evil Panda squad aren't making that many mistakes. Yes, okay, Lucas could have taken a couple of shells as opposed to, though. But it's a minor thing, and they still got the tank down. And now mathematically, Evil Panda squad are completely in the better position. They just need to play out perfectly. Not even perfectly, they just play out a little bit well, and it will be a game over for WUSA. But still, 5 minutes and 51 seconds left on the clock. What is Evil Panda squad going to do to bring this game to a close? That's
a big question, and they're certainly looking like they want to get up to something. Numocho has actually fallen back quite far with Lucas, his partner in crime, and they kind of refocused towards the 6 and 7 line. And I like the stress they put on taking out that one player. He was out on a limb, they took down the tier 1 with him, and then they took down the bigger 5100. I like that play, nice work there, but Raging Potato does find Kilipit actually as well, so this could be interesting. Moving up a little, but Siege does find one back, and it's not a pretty sight so far. He's in a 1v2, and you don't want that. He's finally got support coming in from Eclipse and Lucas, but a lot of damage being done. Kilipit receives another, though, and these two tanks out of them could be in trouble.
Kilipit's not particularly doing very well against Eclipse and Raging Potato. Taken 2, as you said, down to 802. That's half HP, a little bit more. 55-60% HP, so he's got to be careful now. Seeker's really got to start hitting those shells, but that's the thing, Raging Potato and Eclipse, they can shoot through those buildings, those rail carts, and then retreat, and it's very hard for WUSA to actually land the shells because those two are committing and they're dictating the style of play. Kilipit's going to try and catch him on the crossman. I think this is the move for an Evil Panda squad.
Yeah, this is a big play they're going for here. The IS-3s splitting off separately, Raging Potato and Eclipse, and the others falling back in towards the circle, Numocho and Lucas, forcing the fight out of WUSA. I'm curious to see who they're going to focus on first. It looks like QQ will be the first one to get the massive challenge from Lucas. Lucas coming in, gets the first shell. Comandante receives one. Raging Potato finds QQ. Nice work from the back lines from Nez Cosme, and the fire continues in favor to EPS, but can they take down Siege? Still sitting quite pretty on 1.4k HP. Finally being chipped away at by Raging Potato in that IS3. Numocho and Lucas sprinting off towards the side, trying to take down Killerpit, but Killerpit in a nice position. He could soak up some of this damage. Numocho is down to a one-shot, but it's not going to happen. He finds Killerpit, and now Siege left in a 1v5. It's not gone well. It's a cleanup for Evil Panda Squad.
Perfect execution there. I mean, that really was textbook. They took down that one tier 8 tank, but it's still hard to actually win it against a defensive team. But they did it correctly. Basically, they won it not just when the tier 8 tank was taken down, kind of out of position up in the northern area, but when they got across those train tracks and towards the buildings, that's when you know you've won pretty much, because you're in cover, you're not driving across the open, so the other team can't actually use the advantage which they have defensively, which is those buildings, to their favor. So all in all, good display by Evil Panda Squad. You can see this. Eclipse, Raging Potato go forward to see those train tracks. Now he's safe because he has those buildings there, and he's kind of fighting on his own terms. Lucas Easty comes from the side, and WUSA just had no answer for that.
Perfectly done. Numocho a little late to the fight, but certainly did the damage, up at 2.4k here. And I like the fire. I like the way Nazcosmi was in the background as well, hedging their bets, making sure they had the fire from afar. He even picked up Roofy there. So doing the work necessary, and then leaving the two tanks that were being the initial problem till last, and just doing the damage. So Killerpit had a chance to do well there, but it just wasn't to be happening. And I've got to say, all in all, very nice performance. We give a lot of grief towards Numocho because he can be that player right at the top sometimes. And in this game, he certainly performed very well. He was not late to the party. I loved the initial play to solo out the player towards the northeast side, take him down as quick as possible, and then refocus towards the rest. So forging their way to the one map lead so far. Definitely a great way to start this one off. Ignoring the first map, that's way more what I'd expect from Evil Panda Squad. This is why I get a little disappointed when I see it not going so well on other maps, because they can play to such a high standard when all the right things fall into place. And it's something I'm looking forward to maybe seeing a little more of on the next map coming up, which is going to be mine. So very different from the first two. A little bit more up in the air, a little bit more variation with the tanks could be used, even now we've seen the KV5 in play. I want to see what we can see in this one. I want to see what tank choices coming in, because we saw, an interesting lineup previously. Are we going to see it again?
I don't think so. I think these two are going to stay away from that one. Didn't work out for TCM at all.
That's a very good point.
But I think WUSA can actually get themselves into this game now. They've gone down 1-0, but they got rid of the two most prolific city maps, Himmelsdorf and Ensk. And the surprising map like Mines does give a team that's perhaps on the back foot and actually a chance, because you can try new things out. You can surprise the other team as long as you don't, overcommit like we saw TCM do against Freefall. And experiment too much, and that kind of thing doesn't go too well. But you can be really aggressive and quite fun when you go onto the hill. You've got lots of options on Mines, which is very good to see. But the question is, what will Evil Panda Squad do now they're 1-0 ahead? Obviously, they got the option of just camping and waiting towards the end, but we're 4 maps in now. I think they want to be getting one more win at least. You've got to remember, Evil Panda Squad are fairly safe. They're up in 4th position, so basically they kind of secured themselves into the finals. If they basically have this win, they need 2 wins theoretically. I mean, that's like the worst case scenario. If they get 2 wins, 100% going through. Yeah. But pretty much going to go through if they just get this win against WUSA.
Well, at the moment, I still want to put WUSA out of the runnings. At least to win this map. I'm not saying for the offline finals. That's a very different kettle of fish. But I still think there's an opportunity. And seeing EPS picking up the 2 T-32s, I hope we just don't see EPS now turtling down. It opens up so many possibilities for the opposition to make that counter move. When you play, not maybe super aggressive, they don't go for this crazy all-in strategies. Great, play smart with it. But if you leave the option open, let's bear in mind WUSA was the one team who were able to take the victory off of Kaznakru, well, the first win against them, or at least drew it out, should I say it, at a very decisive point on Ensk. And you leave the option open, you leave that door, not fully shut, and you play this very all-in, very defensive, not going to move kind of strategy. You give the option there to the opponent to try and make something out of it. There are ways around these turtle down strats that we've seen completely come undone. But still, this map, who's going to win it?
I think Evil Panda Squad are actually going to go a little bit more aggressive with those T-32s. We've seen it before. I think they might do it if WUSA doesn't bring the fight to them. So I think EPS will win this.
Well, let's find out. Let's see if it's going to be a 2-0 or maybe a 1-all so far. We're going to have to wait and see, because the next map coming up is going to be Mines. Alrighty, welcome into Mines. It will be battle number 3 between Evil Panda Squad and WUSA. So in the north in blue, it will be WUSA, currently not picking up a map, but looking maybe to do the damage up against EPS, leading one map in the south in red. So what are we seeing so far?
WUSA's got the stronger side, so QQC heading up towards the mine area of the hill straight away, trying to get that dominance, put the pressure a little bit on Evil Panda Squad, who, as expected, are sitting very defensively. Eclipse and Raging Potatoes in the two T-32s sitting back towards the cap, and they're just going to be sitting there for pretty much the whole battle if they really want to. And if they do, I don't think there's really going to be much answer from WUSA. You know, we've seen it time and time again. Teams that push against those T-32s just don't do it successfully. It's too hard to push around. There's too much damage, and there's all these kind of factors which you have to consider. And you know, funnily enough, I'm not sure if Evil Panda Squad realised that, you know, if you have the dynamic camo, it gives you 5% camo bonus, and because half their team doesn't have it. I'm not sure if they realise or not, but, you know, Nurse Cosme has got no camo there. The two T-32s have no camo, so just not a good preparation for Evil Panda Squad at all. And, you know, a team like Virtus Pro or Navi or, you know, those kind of guys will definitely have every single factor going towards them, because, you know, 5% can make the difference between a win and loss if you get spotted, if you don't get spotted. So that's quite interesting. What's his name gets spotted on the islands, the AMX 3090. But Evil Panda Squad, they can't do much at this point. They have to wait for WUSA to try something, or they can put T-32s below the hill like we've seen in the past and push them on, use the AMX 3090s in the background. They've got 3 of them to basically push onto the hill. I think that's the backup plan from the Polish team.
We'll wait and see. I'm a little bit disheartened seeing this passive play. I don't like it in World of Tanks, and I'd have liked seeing a little more from EPS here, and maybe they will eventually build their way up into the slightly more aggressive stance with the T-32. But right now, I think they're pretty comfortable where they are. They've hedged their bets nicely, though. I do want to say that leaving the likes of Numocho out here with Naz Cosme does kind of leave options open, or at least, sorry, it closes down the options of what WUSA can do. So normally the counterplay that I see always coming into effect is utilizing this sort of island and going around and trying to get the damage from the side. Now, you know, not only do you have Lucas there here, but Numocho and Naz Cosme certainly will slow down that play. It does, however, leave the, you know, the central island a little bit lighter, but it's not like Polsved won't see it coming if they do start making the move. So they're covering their bases, which is a nice way of playing it out for EPS. And it seems a very solid tactic so far.
Yeah, they don't want to get caught out, basically. They know that WUSA's quite a dangerous team on this map. They shouldn't underestimate them. And they're just saying, look, guys, we're 1-0 ahead. We can bring it up to 2-0, maybe on the 4th or 5th map, but let's just play mine safe, a map that we're not confident on, a map that we're not, you know, particularly effective on, and where WUSA have shown them to be a pretty good team. So, you know, that's the kind of logic that comes out from Evil Panda Squad, and I think generally that's it's a good logic to use. You know, there's no point risking it if there's no reward. We saw Freefall risk it on Cliff, and that brought it all to a draw for TCM when they could have got the 3 points. So it's really the thing that sits in these guys' minds. So what's his name heading around are going to be joining the tier 1 to his left, and maybe the push going to come out from WUSA at some point in time. But 6 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. I think it's a little bit too early. Maybe around the 3-minute mark we'll be seeing something. But it is mines. It's quite systematic. You need to go forwards, win an engagement, and then go forwards, win an engagement. So it's not like Himmelsdorf where you can kind of go all in.
Yeah.
You need to be winning those small battles. So that takes time, and that's why why WUSA wanting to push a little bit earlier than later.
It'll be interesting to see if they can actually find a way to push that doesn't result in their downfall, pretty much. We are seeing Siege now make his way around as well, so it looks like they're happy to try and find something here, WUSA. I don't think there's enough burst fire potential with Evil Panda Squad, at least to one location where they'd have to worry about that. Siege could get taken low, but I don't think he'll go down unless he completely goes out of position. And yeah, all in all, I think WUSA playing it safe as well. I don't think they need to force the hand here. As you said, they could play to another couple of maps. There's not a complete necessity to win on this one. It just brings it a little bit closer, and it, you know, slightly makes your odds a little harder to play with, but it's not the end of the world between these two. Siege there, just kind of finding a position around this area. And what is he looking for here with these guys? Well,
he was just running away because he was spotted. He didn't want to get 2 T-32 shells in his behind. What's his name going to be joining him? Maybe this is the flank, actually, because Killer Pit as well in the T-69 is heading towards this location. Well, and we've seen it a lot of times actually. To try and break that T32 camp, you basically come along the lower road just here. You engage onto the T32s, but what teams have been making mistakes with is instead of engaging frontally on the T32 with the AMX 3090, especially if the armor's angled properly, always you have to go behind and the side. So what you need to be doing is coming off the hill with your tanks. So you have the distraction from there, then you send the flank on so you can actually shoot those T32s in their vulnerable locations, as what's-his-name is going to get a little bit of a helping hand from both the Lux and Seek. Obviously this location does allow you to get a bit more of a, I don't know, a bird's eye view. You can shoot over this rock and actually make the shots onto the tier 1s. That's the 50-meter proxy spot which WUSA needs to get rid of if they want to proceed here.
Yeah, the 4-tank train getting him up on towards these hills, and this is a beautiful little spot coming up from what's his name. And I said that WUSA were not afraid to do this. They've clearly been doing the homework as to where's accessible and where's not. He's like those mountain climbing goats. This is awesome. What's his name is... He's not stopping anytime soon. He's almost out of the map right now. This is pretty damn impressive. I'm curious to see what position he can get into, because these were the guys from the south who got into a very similar spot. But funny enough, Lucas is already looking up towards this sort of area. So I'll be...
He's been looking at the whole map, right?
Yeah. Well, kind of.
Has he?
He's kind of been over towards the lighthouse a lot of the time. But I'll be very interested to see if he can actually spot this guy out at any point, because who the hell expects that for a play?
Yeah, Raging Potato is also looking up there. The teams obviously know that this is an accessible place to go. Sorry.
And then again, it is WUSA who've done it before, so maybe they're just keeping it in mind.
But it's just a little strange that they're looking there right now. They have a really good sixth sense. Obviously, a lot of experience in that team. Gives them the ability to think of what WUSA is capable of doing. What's his name? Just being very cautious now. Evil Panda Squad clearly have a good idea of what he's doing. But yeah, that's a little strange. I guess what Evil Panda Squad saw is that Seek was there. They know the Lux is there because it's been there for a while. So 2 MX 3090s on that location, and you can think, okay, so they're going to push it up a little bit more. But the other one wasn't spotted. What's his name wasn't actually spotted going over there. So interesting stuff, at least from Evil Panda Squad, being a very clever team. And I think we're going to see the push eventually come out from WUSA. You can see the Lux going forwards now. He's going to find Zagorzen. He's going to get taken down, probably by that tier 1. As the as the T32s of Evil Panda Squad are looking in a different direction. So 2 minutes and 23 seconds, WUSA starting to go forwards.
Yeah, no, I'm interested how WUSA kind of pull this one off. As you can see, the Lux is spotted out there by Zagorni, so QQ and Killer Pig get themselves towards the middle of the hill. Raging Potato looking like he wants to edge a little further forward. He's still got his turrets trained on this mountain area, knowing maybe it's a vulnerability for the EPS tactics coming through. Maybe they've been training against WUSA, and WUSA brought out something similar, and they're trying to keep that in mind. But 1 minute and 54 seconds, that's not a lot of time to actually make a fully committed move out of this now for WUSA.
No, it's really not. 1 minute and 45 seconds to kill T32s is already hard enough, especially when you got another 3 tanks to take down. But they are going to try Commandante skipping off that hill very quickly. Takes a little bit of damage there, 280, and I believe that's probably just from dropping, actually. I don't think that was any damage from anything else. So a little bit of damage into Evil Panda Squad fares thanks to some bad drone by Commandante. But Zagorzni is going to go down, but I think EPS are going to hang on.
Yeah, and EPS now trying to adjust. What's his name? Peers up and over. 2 shells immediately coming in towards him, but he did connect one towards Raging Potato. And to be completely honest, this strategy could have paid off. It was a little sooner, but you can see that WUSA are moving up. QQ is there with Commandante and Siege. And we're seeing the retraction from the 1390s coming in. The push does begin. 1 minute to take down these hefty tanks with obscene amounts of HP. This is very difficult stuff here. They're certainly trying it, don't get me wrong, but this is not going to be an easy task. The cap has begun, eclipses down to nothing. Siege capitalizes on that fact, and we are seeing the push happening. Numocho has found the opponent though. Fire from afar. Raging Potato just being the man on the front lines and picking up the kills when necessary, as the cap will continue to happen. What's his name? Pushing off the hill, the fire comes in towards the back lines as Nezcosmi and Numocho not fully involved here, but we are now seeing the push around. Nezcosmi on the chase. 28 seconds, they're a little bit worried here because, let's be serious, WUSA are thinning in numbers. Nezcosmi finding QQ, going low himself, but all in all, 20 seconds left. This is still a close game, but I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, with 16 seconds left, Clip Hit also finally getting himself into the equation. Seek does take a lot of damage, and generally EPS are down 8 seconds.
8 seconds left. 3 tanks alive for both sides here. Lucas battling out with Killer Pit. Killer Pit being the one shot. What's his name? Going in towards Raging Potato, takes him down. It's a clean exchange, and it's a draw between the two teams. But all in all, if that started a minute or two earlier, I think we maybe have seen a winner then, because WUSA seemed to have had the right idea for that.
Yeah, it was actually 2 versus 2. There was New Multi-Show and the Tier 1 and the What's His Name and another Tier 1 for WUSA. So it would have been a very interesting exchange. Would have one of the teams actually gone for the win? I think New Multi-Show is very, very good in these like tight situations when there's 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2. So I would not like to have been WUSA. But yeah, generally they did it pretty well. I think they should have been a little bit more aggressive. I keep on saying this, and they should be more aggressive off the hill. I think Killer Pit was out of position for too long. Yes, he got some good damage on T-32s, but it was just too far away from the general battle to be effective. But yeah, EPS perfectly exchanged for them. They could have also used the T-32s a bit more effectively. They were looking towards what's his name for too long. Should have ignored him. Should have ignored him, and they should have just gone for the tanks that are going below. Because the T-32's aim down time and accuracy it isn't particularly good. So you're going to miss probably like 50 or more % of the shots. So you're just being inefficient and ineffective when you've got tanks right in front of you that you can take down very easily. So that's going to be another draw. Evil Panda Squad still 1-0 up. 4th map coming up. It's going to be Ruinberg.
Interesting map on this one, and considering the scoreline right now, I'm not sure how this one's going to end up, because Ruinberg can be played out quite randomly if they go for that initial, let's say, straight across the middle push, both teams, or it can be very defensively played out from both sides. So I'm interested to see what we're going to get here. Is it going to be that southwest camp coming out from the southern team? Will the northern team maybe head towards the village and just hunker down there? I'm very interested to see how these two teams mentally come into this one. I'm not too sure what to expect. I think the tank lineups are coming in, and both of them look pretty heavy so far.
Yeah, well, Ruinberg is becoming more and more heavy as the days go by. We used to have 2 MX-5100s if we're lucky in terms of the heavy tanks used on this map, but now Evil Panda Squad triple MX-5100 IS-3 MX-3090. The only difference between this and Himmelsdorf is that you got the MX-3090 instead of the IS-3, so it's pretty similar. And for WUSA, something more light, but still just as deadly. Double MX-3090, double IS-3, AMX-5100, double Tier 1. So they got a lot of speed. Does give us an inkling that they might actually be going for the aggression, and also the green side is definitely going to be where they want to go. But if Evil Panda Squad want to draw this one out, like we saw in the previous matchup with Freefall just sat in that southern area, then they have that option, and that's really risky, because if they do, we'll be going to the 5th map,
they can still be drawn out.
It's only going to be a draw, and Evil Panda Squad could win just on 1 map in total.
Well, options are now up in the air. There's a lot of choices that have to be made smartly for the end result, not just for the initial hit in this matchup. So we have to wait and see. I believe that both the teams are now ready. This game is going to come down to these last couple of maps. So guys, let's get ourselves looking towards the next one, Ruinberg. And welcome into battle number 4 here between Evil Panda Squad and WUSA. In the south in blue, it's WUSA with all those defensive options now on the board. And in the north, currently leading this match is Evil Panda Squad, wanting maybe to secure another map under the belt or play this one out passively. But what are WUSA going with?
Looks like the MX-3090 is wanting to get this position, at least one of them. Obviously, Sheik is going to be getting the middle spot on first. So good split using the MX-3090s effectively, as Evil Panda Squad also head towards that city, and that's the eastern village. That's a good thing here for WUSA, because Evil Panda Squad have the northern position. They can't go campy, they have to go aggressive, and WUSA are very, very good in that respect. They can counter these aggressive moves, and they can also be very good in the focus firing situations. What's his name? Get himself into a good location. Might get a couple of shells onto New Multi-Show if he doesn't be careful, but he is just about in a defensive position. Seek is there in reply. Doesn't manage to find that shell though. Doesn't even shoot it, even though he had reload. So at the moment, both teams sitting comfortably up and towards the village. Personally, I actually prefer to be from the north and the south in this location.
Well, let's see how this one comes down. We've seen this being defined by a lot of different crossfires, how they've set up Numolcho there. A little surrounded, he needs to be a little careful on this one. You know, the roofie is close. Lucas is moving in, he's been tracked coming out there, so this could be trouble, and it looks like they're going to try and make their way move across. Didn't expect Siege and Commandante, and as Cosme not slowing down, going to go in for another shot towards Siege, and splits his forces up a little more. Lucas is low, he's a pivotal point in this Eclipse, secures the kill towards Siege, taking him down, and now look at this reply. Commandante finding Lucas. He was the weak link in this battle, as now Naz Cosme could be the focus, but Commandante is going low. Numolcho finds the target, and he looks like he wants to take him down. He's done just that at the moment. 2-for-2 exchange, but HP pool looking a little lower for WUSA here as the fight continues. Who's got the advantage?
I think Evil Panda Squad do, but they need to get off freeloaders. At the moment, WUSA still have those IS3s, and they're doing a lot of damage at the moment.
Oh, wow. Eclipse has been taken down to nothing. 2-2. 2-3-3 even as Raging Potato picks up his position. Eclipse and Numolcho back away. Raging Potato fancies his chances against QQ there. Watching the push on the flank from Killerpit, but Killerpit cames it. Really well played from him, but allows Numolcho to start pushing it on the flank as well. These guys are dancing around each other, and Numolcho is going to come around the backside of Killerpit. One shot takes him down, but now QQ, turret turned, knows exactly where Numolcho is going to be. At the moment, this is not looking so good for EPS now.
No, Numolcho is the only one left. He's also not got enough shells to take down these two.
Yeah, and he knows what's about to happen. Tracks have gone from QQ, he gathers that, but still, as you said, not enough shells, and even the tier 1 kicking in with a bit of damage there. Roofie doing the job as, what's his name, trying to chase him round and catch him out. Both 1390s, both as fast as each other, but Numolcho down to this one shot. Oh, it doesn't connect. Numolcho continues to roll forward. He needs to land this. He does the job, and leaves just the tier 1s alive. Can they escape for 7 minutes?
No, it's the game over. It's totally game over for Evil Panda Squad. The cap's going to come though from WUSA, for Evil Panda Squad even. 2 in there, so it's going to put a little bit of pressure onto WUSA, but immediately they're heading back. They know what's up because they didn't spot the tier 1s, they didn't take them down, so the cap is the obvious option. What's his name? It's going to clean up here, these two, Polsved and Zagorzni, and bring the score all even as we do go into the last match. Takes down Zagorzni in ramming fashion, leaving only Polsved alive.
Yeah, Polsved, the last man standing for EPS, and this was a solid pickup for WUSA. And this is the danger, as I said, of these teams playing passively on maps, bringing it down to the final 2. We'll be seeing WUSA picking up the battle and bringing it back all even, going into a decider in just a couple of moments. But take me through what happened then, because initially it looked like EPS had won the fight. It kind of got taken to a... 2 tanks got taken out from either side. But as you said, the favor looked slightly in the hands of Evil Panda Squad, and then it turned. What happened then?
I think for Evil Panda Squad, the problem was that they didn't have the reloads. They had the damage to get the initial advantage, but then we had Numolcho. We had pretty much all the auto-loading tanks for Evil Panda Squad just sitting there being useless. And that's where the IS3s of WUSA came in. They took 2 IS3s, genius move from them. The top one doing QQ doing 2.2k, so you know we can see its engagement.
2 tanks now down for
at the
both
moment,
sides.
yeah, exactly. So Evil Panda Squad gone in. So they're actually doing okay right now. Killerpit's a 1-shot, and Eclipse though takes so much damage from those IS3s. You can see that Evil Panda Squad, they didn't focus the fire correctly enough. They should have gone for the IS3s, not from the auto-loading tanks, because the auto-loading tanks, they do a very finite amount of damage. If you leave the IS3s alive, they'll just carry on pummeling you away, and you can't actually counter it because every 11 seconds they'll have damage. So bad focus fire for Evil Panda Squad, going for the easiest targets, but not necessarily the best one. Numolcho finally comes off reload, does take one. So, you know, just a couple of bad decisions from Evil Panda Squad. I think it could have gone either way, though.
It was very close, let's be serious there.
Very, very close. Just good call from WUSA to pick those IS3s and to keep them in good and alive positions.
Defining game and defining map is now going to be Cliff. Another one coming up here, and it's... I don't think this is what Evil Panda Squad would have wanted, really. But then again, this reconfirms what we've been saying for quite some time. If you play for the draw on the initial 2 to 3 maps, maybe, or 2 maps generally, you'll see maybe a draw. There'll be a bit passive, testing the waters. I get it. But then you come down to the situation where you pick up that 3rd map, let's say, then you've got 2 maps to try and secure it on. And there's always a danger of a team like WUSA just maybe having 10% better focus fire, 10% better teamwork on one map, and that's exactly what happened on Ruinberg. It's a map that's up in the air sometimes. When both teams go for the same kind of objective, same kind of positioning, it can come down to those tiny percentages of slightly better work. And right now it's probably game back or even. But we need to look at what we're going to see from this map here, Cliff, because very different from what we've seen so far. You could maybe compare it to Ruinberg back in the day. Excuse me. But who's got the advantage on this one?
Evil Panda Squad. I'm not being all too impressed on Cliff. They lost it against Denali Sports. It was a defining map for them.
Yeah.
Numoisho just being a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too on his own, a little bit wayward, I have to say. They have to correct that if they want to beat WUSA on here.
Yep.
And just looking generally, if WUSA win this map, it's going to be great for the likes of TCM. It's going to be great for the likes of Denial, who are sitting at 6th and 5th. Because basically
it opens up again.
It opens up more. You know, you can catch up with Evil Panda Squad who have 15 points if you have 12. Whereas if they win this one, it would be 2 wins they definitely need to actually catch up with that team. So this is good for the 2 teams I just mentioned. Not good for Evil Panda Squad. As obviously, as you said, it's going to open up more for the teams to get in. Denial have more of a chance, even though they have to play School Bus and Virtus Pro still. It's going to give them more of a boost. The tank lineups come in. Quadruple MX 39 to TC9 double tier 1. So WUSA definitely, like TCM did, want to go aggressive here.
Yep.
And maybe impressed with some of the Lighthouse, the top of the Lighthouse play from TCM. Have to see how that one plays out. And we're just waiting for Evil Panda Squad to bring their lineup. But now, both these 2 teams need to go for the win.
Yeah. It's the first time I think we're going to have to see them force themselves into aggression. Because no one, no one wants to walk over the draw. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
My voice is dying. That's also a point. But still, that aside, no one wants to draw, especially, if it's kind of down to the final map and you're 0-0 against each other because you couldn't break the defense or whatever it is. Okay, maybe then the best option is to play passively. But when you've both picked up a map respectively, the last thing you want it to come down to is just, one point. That's not it. You've got to go for the victory. And I'll be interested to see who's starting in the south here, actually. I think it's WUSA starting in the south, so they have the chance to be aggressive. Generally, I think it's the southern team we see a little bit more aggressive, on occasion. Generally, it works better for the southern side. So all factors go into this last prediction. Who's going to get it?
I think Evil Panda Squad will.
I'm going to go for WUSA. Let's find out on the final map, Cliff. And welcome into the final map, Cliff, to decide who'll be walking away with that victory. I'm not going to even think for a second it's going to be a draw. So in the north in red, it will be Evil Panda Squad. In the south in blue, it's WUSA. They're tied at 1-1. What are we seeing from these 2?
Evil Panda Squad heading up towards the middle, as is WUSA, and that's what you would expect from this team. And my question is, what happens more about 8 minutes and 30 seconds mark, where who goes aggressive? I really want to see some aggressive movement from WUSA. What's his name? Got a great early position. He's going to be trying to flank around as quickly as possible and maybe get some early damage out. Lots of spots as well. Raging Potato, Numoisho. And it does look like we'll get some really, really early aggression.
Wow, well, you saw Numoisho and that's Cosme go for the shot there. Neither of them land it and now allows Sish and QQ to go for the peak. And actually the damage is against WUSA with that early aggression. Not full commitment just yet. I'm interested to see who will really edge over this slight hill.
A little bit of damage from both teams. 2 shots each taken, but WUSA being very aggressive going in, and not what's his name, also in a good position.
Raging Potato has just thrown caution to the wind and gone in, found QQ in the T69, and now here comes a push from EPS. They found them completely in no man's land. Sish has fallen, QQ is down, and Commandante is next. That T69 is out in the open, being beaten black and blue, and the 1390 Wolfpack is just swallowing WUSA whole. And this is not what you'd want if you're a WUSA fan. Commandante is down to maybe 1 or 2 shots. There's the first, and there's the second from Raging Potato. Finally, what's his name comes into the battle, but the damage is surely done.
Yeah, it's game over. What's his name? Way too late for the party. That's beyond late. Numoisho will clean him up, puts him in towards the side of his tank, and game over for WUSA.
Yep, there is the final real damaging blow, and it looks as though that should near on be almost that with these guys. It's just gone so badly for WUSA in that game.
I have no idea what's going on, but
yeah, currently we're just chilling out.
Let's go back to the old broadcasting style. Let's do Winamp. Oh, there we go. Numocho does spot him out. He's going to just take down the Lux, and Rufy left as well. Not a little bit ambitious with that shot on the move, but you might as well have a go. And as Cosmi does take down Lux, leaving only Terrastan and Rufy in these two tanks. Terrastan obviously on only 119 HP, so a one shot for an AMX 3090 in every respect, unless obviously he gets tracked or somehow absorbs the damage. But finally my prediction is right. Not good stuff for Denard and TCM, as Evil Panda Squad do push themselves further towards the top of that table.
Yeah, Numocho finding Rufy towards the end, and now just Terrastan left alive. 7 minutes. You're not going to make it on a one-shot, sadly. And there we have it. The final member will fall for WUSA, and EPS pick up the game in the very end. So, credit where it's due. Evil Panda Squad finally did the job there. Finally picked up the game. But it wasn't easy.
It wasn't an easy game, but that was classic Cliff. Like, literally, how do these teams still fall for that? You know, they basically, Evil Panda Squad saw what's his name over in that left position, who was clearly trying to play for the later game. And they were like, brilliant. 4 versus 5, we'll take that. And especially from the north, when you're coming off that hill, it's actually a better position for them. They can kind of collapse onto it. So they saw 4 versus 5, they jumped on it, and it really, really went down very well for them. Perfect coordination, you can see now. They push forwards. What's his name's all over towards the left.
Who was it who went initially aggressive? Raging Potato in that T69. Look at him.
Great play by him. Look how much damage he does in this position.
Perfectly done. Luckily bouncing that shell.
3 versus 5 even. Yeah.
So well played. They find 3 of these tanks, one after the other, out on a limb, and it's mechanical. These guys not messing around, doing the damage. Come on, Dante getting picked up as well. The 3090's finally run out of steam almost. But the backup arrives in a couple of seconds. And at this point, what's his name is still nowhere to be found. Terrastan, not all that close either. And come on, Dante, you know, sadly is now surrounded. So dribs and drabs for WUSA. Not the performance that we wanted to see out of them on the final map. And now is when you saw that final player, what's his name, coming into the action. After 3 of his players, damage dealing tanks had already gone.
Yeah.
That's not what we want to see in this.
It was a bad tactical call. I think, you know, if you're actually playing on Cliff and the northern team is going aggressive like straight away, usually we see one tank right towards the back and a couple of T69s maybe in like the defilade on the hill. Then don't try and play for the flank, because it makes no sense. It's really, really obvious what the other team wants to do when they're pushing up at disadvantageous position. You know, from the south you have all the cover, from the north you have nothing. So if you're playing aggressively, you have to stay there. You have no other option. So, you know, some bad thinking by WUSA, some communication breakdown, but tactically not very sound. But they were tested in that match. Evil Panda Squad were tested by WUSA there.
I agree.
100%. And EPS needs to be careful that those, you know, real tests don't turn into more of like a downward spiral for them, because, you know, pretty much now qualifying for the offline finals, they could not, but it'd be very unlikely. They have to start thinking about Virtus Pro. They have to start thinking about Kazna Crew, School Bus, all these guys that are pretty much up there now.
Let's bear in mind, WUSA is second to last in this season, so to have such a close game with them when you're in 4th, one, it shows that the talent in the EU region at the moment is very hard to put your thumb on. It could be, you know, the top team, you know, easily being challenged, or maybe the second top team, let's ignore Virtus Pro from this, being challenged by the likes of WUSA, like we saw before, or Lucky Karaki, who's in 3rd to last place. It's always up in the air with these guys. You can never fully predict a game these days. You can say on paper what's the most likely outcome, but it's never, you know, cemented in stone. It's never quite there. So all in all, a tough game, but won out eventually in the final map by Evil Panda Squad. And I've got to ask the question, Melly, how many people at home expected it to be that close?
Not so much, actually, but we had the community at home had faith in Evil Panda Squad. So the vote started off with a clear 74% for Evil Panda Squad, and stuck around at 82, if I'm not mistaken. So people at home definitely knew that Evil Panda Squad would win this matchup. And if we have a look in the comment section, there are they're actually, well, the predictions are widespread. They're from 3-0 to 1-1. There's everything. So it wasn't really clear. It was hard to guess for the people at home. But I saw some right predictions. Congratulations to you guys. I will announce the winners later. And of course, I asked you at home to get involved via Twitter as well by using hashtag WGLEU. And we have a question.
Sure.
Shoot.
We have a question, if I can find. But it was, if Pans and Ollie could pick a dream team from all the players in the season, who would they pick?
Ooh,
It's a tough one.
Okay. Ooh.
I think
Elian has to be in there.
Yeah. I think it would be
Elian's
like
there.
Virtus Pro plus Elian and get rid of Bishop.
You just don't like Bishop. But no, I think Elian has to be in there. I want to see Apple Wow.
Yeah, Apple Wow could be as well.
Sure, I'd like to see Ruster and McMoney just thrown together with more experienced players and see what can happen. Like, put Elian in there at the helm, captain, leader. Put Apple Wow in there as your star player. You got to have him.
Yeah.
Throw Ruster and McMoney in, and then you can fill out the rest of it with really experienced players and see what happens. Like, just throw like older than new and see who comes out on top. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be cool as well.
Yeah.
For me, it would be something similar. I don't know if I'd Rust or McMoney, but I think I would have. I think I'd have Elian. As I said, get rid of Bishop and have the whole of Virtus Pro pretty much.
That'd be
maybe
a
Apple
solid
Wow as
lineup.
well. I think I might have Apple Wow instead of. I know city maps are becoming very important these days, so Povil kind of has to stick in there. Maybe get rid of, I don't know, Kusok or something. Maybe Breakneck. I don't know, but I definitely have Apple Wow somewhere in there. Ruster's
you
also
can't
pretty
not
good.
have him.
Yeah.
It's just I want to see how good the newer players can get with like real experienced leaders or real experienced, co-players. So I'd love to see that synergy coming out from those guys. It'd be certainly something to keep my eyes on. I'd love to see it, even if it's just like a dream team mixed together or like the EU
All-star.
like all-star lineup. That would be something I'd want to see, like at least one kind of new addition to the league. Like obviously these players are not new to World of Tanks. Let's just put that in perspective right now. It's not like Russ has just downloaded it like a week ago. Like I'm just gonna try this game out. It looks cool. But you know what I mean? Like just throw like more than really new guys in there, new upcoming talent, and see how they do. Like it could go terribly wrong, but it also could be absolutely awesome to watch. So I think that would be my ideal lineup at least.
That sounds pretty good. So you don't have to. It's not good to make the mistake to throw in like the top damage dealers in one team and to have them fight for the health points. We saw in some other games maybe organizations trying doing that, getting all the top gamers and throwing them into a team, and it goes terribly wrong.
Yeah, egos clash. Is what I'm
Exactly.
saying. Egos clash. It doesn't really work.
So, and Andy asks, is there a way to get involved in competitive play without having to grind out the tier 8 tanks to use them in matches?
I mean, we do run lower tier tournaments on ESL, for instance. We have 5-on-5 with random tanks. We have 3-on-3, but generally, kind of no. I mean, Wargaming also has some fun tournaments they run, but the accepted standard in World of Tanks at the moment is tier 8. Obviously, that could change in the future as format changes. At the moment, quite likely, things are being tested. But yeah, tier 8 it's that cut-off point in World of Tanks where tier 7, tier 8, where you can still get there and get the tanks without having to have premium. As soon as you go above tier 8, tier 9 to 10, then you do actually need premium ammo, so premium account. So I think tier 8 is pretty reasonable actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, it's cool.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hopefully that answered it.
Oh, I think
We
so.
hope.
I think so.
Maybe.
If not, head over to Twitter and tweet us by using hashtag WGLEU. If something is still not clear, I will get you the answers in the next question round. And of course, follow us, like us, become part of our network. Join us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, right?
Yep.
Where you can find recap videos and stuff like that.
Just every single VOD that's on youtube.com/WGL. You can check out all the matches
out.
of
Even
this
for the last season.
plus all the grand final
Everything.
VODs.
Everything.
Cool stuff like that. So head over there as well.
Exactly. And on Twitch, of course, Twitter, Facebook, everything. So you don't miss any single action going on our platforms and in the WGLEU.net league. And yes, that's all from my side. I love reading from you, so tweet right away. I'll keep my eyes open and
Yeah, I've got to say it. The amount of guys that are using the hashtag WGL, I like it. I think we need more, though. More questions, more hashtags. I think that's where we need to go forward. Keep using the hashtag WGL. Obviously, I am occasionally keeping my eyes on them. Just watching what you guys are saying. I can't watch Twitch chat, so I can't look at all the cappers. Kappa, ladies and gents. Just keep it going. But anyway, we will be back after a very short break with another fantastic game on the way. It'll be C-Play up against Asuba, so I'll be very interested to see how aggressive these two teams are. They have days where they're very aggressive and completely in your face and come out with these very surprising tactics. They're like, there's actually a lot of potential there. What the hell did that just come out of? And sometimes when they're just not quite there yet. So it could be a phenomenal matchup, or it could be a cluster of mistakes thrown together in one. Who knows what we're about to see in the final game coming up for this playday. But you'll find out if you stay tuned. Maybe go make another cup of tea. Maybe add a biscuit to it. Who knows? Go wild. But guys, we'll be here, and hopefully you'll be as well. Do stay tuned. We'll be back in 5.